Hello, I'm Jason Rice, attorney and founder of Dirigo Divorce, a full-service family law firm, and I wanted to talk with you briefly about protection from abuse cases and some things to think about if you're involved in one of these types of matters. It's possible that you were served recently with a temporary order for protection from abuse. If you have, you want to be mindful of and pay attention to the order and the conditions that are in it. For example, a common condition is that you're not to have any contact, direct or indirect, with the plaintiff in the case. That means you can't contact them by phone, by email, by text, by Facebook Messenger, other social media, and you can't have other people do that on your behalf either. If you violate the terms or any of the conditions in the temporary order for protection from abuse, you could be arrested and it could become a criminal matter. So one thing to think about or to understand is that a protection from abuse case, it's not a family law matter, it's not a criminal matter, and it's not a civil matter. It's its own type of case called protection from abuse cases. And with it, it has its own process. So when somebody feels that they're in need of a protection order, the first step is they file a complaint for protection from abuse. And they fill out the information and they put down allegations which they believe satisfy that condition. It's presented to a judge who reviews it. And if the judge determines that it's in their opinion that a temporary order for protection should be issued, they will issue that, and that's what you end up getting served with. With that temporary order that you've been given a copy of or been served with, there should be a final hearing date. It's important to be mindful of when that date is and when it starts. Because if you don't show up that day, if you're the defendant, the court could enter a default judgment against you, and a protection from abuse matter could be put in place for 2 years. So it's important for you to show up that day that the court has the hearing so that you can present your side of the evidence or side of the story. Now, keep in mind that the judge that issued the temporary order simply went off the allegations that are put forth in the complaint. They haven't made a final ruling yet. And so that final hearing date is the opportunity to address those issues. When you arrive that day on the final hearing date, there could be 10 to 20 to maybe even 30 other protection from abuse cases pending that day. And the court's going to call through those cases. Again, if you're not there on time, the court could enter that default. Now, if the plaintiff doesn't show up, the court will enter a dismissal because they failed to prosecute or failed to go through with their case against you. Now it's important to keep in mind that you need to be prepared to go forward that day to a final hearing. That means the court will have each side will have an opportunity to present their evidence. So the plaintiff carries the burden of demonstrating that the abuse happened and that they have a need for the protective order. If you're defending it, you're going to defend against that. But again, make sure you have your witnesses and evidence with you. If you have pictures or emails or communications that you want the judge to see, make sure you have printed out copies of those for the other side, for the plaintiff or the defendant, and for the court, so that they have a copy of them to review. The other thing to keep in mind is that the rules of evidence apply. Now, the rules of evidence governs all types of case proceedings in the district courts. And those rules, as its name kind of sounds, is that there are certain ways to go about and how to get evidence in and witnesses and things like that. So it could be helpful to talk with an attorney who might be able to explain what the process is or could represent you that day for a final hearing. If you have any of those types of questions, feel free to reach out to Dirigo Divorce. You can find the website www.dirigo-divorce.com. And the website, you can book or request an appointment and schedule a consultation, or you can call the firm at 207-200-3231. I'm more than happy to discuss your case and set up a consultation to address and figure out what issues are involved in your protection from abuse cases. If you have found this to be helpful in any way, feel free to subscribe to the channel for more information that could be helpful to your family law cases.